this video, but this came to me today, this afternoon actually. I was thinking about this. Do you know how in the book of Daniel, the angel basically is giving prophecy, and the angel might be Gabriel, I believe, but he's giving prophecy to Daniel, and he's talking about, in the latter days that knowledge will increase, and that basically we will go to and fro, or knowledge will go to and fro, or whatever. I'm sorry, I can't remember the exact quotation, but basically it was saying in the latter days knowledge would increase. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about my study of Bible prophecy. I've told y'all I've been studying Bible prophecy since I was, oh goodness, it's been at least 23 years now. And I'm not saying that to brag, I'm saying that because I'm trying to give you a timetable. And the only materials that I had when I started studying Bible prophecy were the Bible itself, which is of course the most important, and then these Bible prophecy books. And you can only buy so many of these because you're on a budget, and they were $16 to $20 something a piece, and that was a lot of money. And how about what I could afford to? And I would read those and scour them and try and get insight from them to help make parts of the Bible that dealt with prophecy easier to understand. I felt like that if it was someone who had been trained, in a seminary or had studied the Bible much longer than I had, that they would have insights that I didn't have. And also language experience, like, people that actually could read the Bible in Greek, the original Greek, or, whatever language was required, Latin perhaps. So that was great. So as I, could read those books, it helped me tremendously to understand things. Like I've quoted on here and shown y'all pictures in here about the Revelation unveiled charts and tables that I've shared with y'all that helped me understand how to read the book of Revelation and understand it a lot better. Even things like that, the book of Revelation has to be read in a particular order, that there are certain passages that you think, wait, hold on just a minute, they've jumped around a lot. They were talking about this and now they've jumped over to here, and people get confused, I think, a lot of times with the book of Revelation because they think that it actually just goes, that it's a linear book, and they don't understand that there are parenthetical passages. So I think some of the misunderstanding about when certain things happen are because we don't understand that. But the average church member doesn't understand that there's a parenthetical passage either. Most of y'all probably haven't had your pastor preach in church on the book of Revelation any more than I had at that point in time. So the books helped me tremendously. And I'm saying all this to say this. In talking about the latter days, which I think most people agree that we are in the latter days, but in talking about the latter days and knowledge increasing, in the past year, once I figured out that there were on YouTube, that it was more than just people putting up videos of their grandchildren and dogs and cats, that there were actual channels that dealt with Bible prophecy. It's like the whole world of information has opened up to me, and I have learned about Bible prophecy at a geometric rate, an exponentially high rate of learning new things. My knowledge has increased exponentially, I guess is what I'm trying to say, because of all of the access that I now have to other people that have expertise in particular areas. Again, it's like those books that I used to try and buy because the people that were writing in them were experts or had extensive knowledge in a particular field of study that had to do with Bible prophecy. So you can, watch a channel and you can see somebody that has extensive knowledge, and you don't have to pay anything for it. So I have spent hours and hours and hours. I don't watch television anymore. Haven't really watched television in years, other than, if you pick out a series or something that you really like, and we would do that occasionally, but watching regular television is not something that I do. So the time that I would have spent watching regular television, I have done Bible study, and done lots and lots of watching of videos on different channels and trying to combine information. And I'll give you just an example of how it increases your knowledge. So when you're talking about 2 Thessalonians on our little channel here, someone had asked me a question about 2 Thessalonians, and so I spent a weekend doing some research, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and learned a lot about the circumstances under which Paul wrote the books to the Thessalonians and what he was talking about in 2 Thessalonians. And in doing so, I first was given the information about the word apostasia and what the falling away meant. And I'm going to be very honest with y'all, and this may make me sound very ignorant, and I really don't care because we're going to be honest. I really never gave it much thought. I knew it was a pre-tribulation rapture. It was not something that was particularly I didn't feel like I needed to prove it, because I just kind of knew that's what it was. So it really hasn't been anything that I had felt the need to dig around a whole lot to prove, because I just thought everybody believed in a pre-tribulation rapture. So in looking at that, the phrase, the falling away, basically, telling the Thessalonians, look guys, you're not in the tribulation yet, because for the tribulation to occur, you have to have the falling away, and then you have to have the man of perdition, or the man of sin, revealed first. So in looking at that and actually studying that, I learned that falling away doesn't necessarily mean that people have become apostate, that they've fallen away from the true belief, the true church, the true whatever. That actually that word originally, when it was translated, had to do with a departing. It didn't have to do with falling away. And so I started looking on different channels. I started looking on the internet for different concordances and different things, like Little and Scott and Strong's Concordance, of course, we had. And what I learned is, like, for example, King James Version uses apostasia, and they explain that as being a falling away from belief or whatever. But if you actually dig around more, you find out that King James there's no particular reason that they chose that the earlier versions of the Bible stuck with the meaning that it was a departing, meaning a physical moving from one place to the other, and that they can't really explain why they changed it to falling away, meaning apostasy, and they call it the apostasy, as though you can tell between this apostasy and other apostasies. So that's just one of those things that when you talk about knowledge increasing in the latter days, that's an example of it, is being able to have at your fingertips. It just blows my mind that at your fingertips you have all of these different concordances that you could look at, all this reference material, all the videos that people that have a lot more information than I do and a lot more knowledge and maybe have studied it their entire lives in the original Greek or something have. So I just wanted to jump on here real quick and mention that to y'all. What a blessing that is that knowledge has increased.